vectors is our question. Suppose students, suppose I am taking this object right here. Let's say this object, and I am putting, let's say I am throwing this in some direction. I am throwing it. So why is this first of all going to be displaced in the direction I am throwing first of all, and whether it is going down or whether it is going upwards, what will be the behavior of this object when I throw it? Okay, that is called vectors. The analysis of that is called vectors. Right now we are studying vectors. We are not studying the application of it. The application is of course in the next chapter. But right now look here, if suppose students, this is an object right here and I am applying a force in this direction, then what will happen? This block will displace upwards, isn't it? This block will displace upwards. But what if I am applying a force from down also and I'm applying a force from sideways also? If I'm applying a force from downwards and sideways, what is going to happen? See, students, it's a little bit difficult for me to show you here. I am applying the force sideways and I am applying the force downwards. What is going to happen? It is not going to go in any direction. It will go like this. It will go like this. So why is it going like that? Why is it going like that? Is basically the study of vectors, and that is why to analyze that situation as to why an object behaves due to a particular force or velocity, whatever is being applied on it, why it happens is what we are looking at. So yesterday we just saw that vectors, students, vectors are basically, okay, vectors are basically how they are symbolized. How, what is the symbol for vectors? It is an arrow. This is called a vector. If
Arrow.
suppose, yes, it's an arrow, okay, and if suppose I'm saying that my velocity is in this direction, then I can say that this is my vector. Let's say the velocity is in this direction. This is my vector. If suppose my velocity was upwards, I would have said this is my direction. Okay, this is the direction. This is the velocity, which is telling you by its trail what is the magnitude, and in which direction it is associated with, So you have to understand two concepts, students. To understand vectors, you have to understand that there is magnitude associated with it. You have to understand that there is direction associated with it. So let's come to some important aspects of vectors, students. Let's jump into some important aspects of vectors. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about equal vectors. Now when I was talking about equal vectors, students, very simple concept. Okay, equal vectors. What are equal vectors? Equal vectors, of course, from the name itself, you should know that equal vectors will have the same magnitude. Yes or no? They will have the same magnitude. I am talking about two vectors. Two vectors, if I'm talking, they will have the same magnitude. But what else will be common? Okay, they will have the same physical quantity. They will have the same physical quantity. That means I'm not talking about two vectors. One is velocity. One is some force. Okay, no, I'm talking about two vectors which are two velocities or two forces or two accelerated particles. Okay, these are called vectors. They have some certain direction. I am just telling that they have equal magnitude and they have equal physical quantity, and of course they are going to have direction, similar direction. They are going to have the same direction. So this is called the equal vectors. That's it. That's as easy as it is. In your book it is given two vectors of the same type are parallel if they have the same direction. They are equal only when they have the same magnitude. Okay, so in other words, two vectors like this, okay, like this, you can represent this two vectors. Let's say this is v1 vector. See how I'm representing v1 vector. Let's see how I'm representing v2 vector. Pay attention, observation is important. So here v1 and v2 are same physical quantities. So first one is tick mark. Okay, second thing, they have the same magnitude here. They are equal. Okay, I will say the magnitude is 10. Okay, 10. I will say the magnitude of this v1 also is 10. So 10 what? 10 meters per second. Let's say 10 meters per second, 10 meters per second square. Sorry. Wait. Yes, 10 meters per second, I can say. Okay, so 10 meters per second, both are having same magnitude, tick mark. Okay, and they're having the same direction. They both are in the x-axis direction. Okay, so this is called equal vectors. Now let's shift to what is going to be a null vector. What is the meaning of null vector? We'll be jumping to different concepts. We'll see the applications later. Okay, all these things should be understood, not by hearted. What is null vector? Null vector, students, what can you understand by null vector? Of course, null vector means the magnitude of this vector will be what? Null. So the magnitude of this, let's say this vector is some a
Sir, will
cap.
it be 0?
Yes, it will be 0. Yes. So a cap, let's represent this vector a and with the arrow here. It is a vector, but the magnitude of this vector is what? 0. The magnitude of this vector is 0. What this means, students, that if you add, say, suppose if I am saying that there are two vectors, uh, let's say there is two vectors, a vector and b vector, and I say b vector is a null vector. Okay, so in that case there comes this this property of additive identity. What is the property called? It is called additive identity. What does additive identity mean? Additive identity, by this we can add the vectors. So I can say that two vectors can be added. Now I'll tell you what are the properties later on of additive, inverse and all that. But look here, additive identity says that two vectors of the same quantity, same magnitude can be, okay, two vectors of the same quantity, that sorry, uh, what do you say, uh, same physical quantity. Okay, that means mass and mass, velocity and velocity. Okay, that's what I mean. So magnitudes can be anything, but they should have the same uh,
Physical
what do you
quantity.
say, physical quantity. They should have the same physical quantity. You can only add same physical quantity. You can add 5 kg plus 4 kg. You can't add 5 kg plus 1 meter per second square. Okay, this does not make any sense. Okay, you can't add mass and velocity, acceleration here. So of course you have to have some sense when you're adding two vectors. And so when I'm saying that one vector is a null vector, if I say this a vector plus b vector, what is this going to result, students? If b is 0, then the answer is going to be a vector itself. So here you can see that b is 0. Anytime students you add anything to a null vector, okay, the answer will be equal to this physical quantity itself, the one which you are adding with the null vector. This is clear, very easy, very simple to understand. Okay, now let's see what is going to be the meaning of resultant. What is the meaning of resultant? Okay, what is meant by resultant of two or more vectors? Students, listen to me now carefully. Listen to me very carefully. Okay, when a single vector whose effect is the same as the combined effect of two or more vectors. Okay, this is written in your books. Okay, it is same kind is called the resultant of two vectors. Listen to me, I'm going to repeat that again. A single vector whose effect is same as the combined effect of two or more vectors of the same kind is called the resultant of two vectors. That means, students, if suppose I'm saying that this is an object, this is an object, I put a force on this object in the x-axis direction. Let's call this is my force. Let's call this F1 vector. Okay, now I also apply another force on this object in the upward direction. So let's call this F2 vector. So in that case, students, what will be the resultant? Resultant is simply, okay, resultant is such a vector, resultant will be such a vector that it will be the sum of the effect of these two vectors. Resultant will be such a vector that it will be the sum of these vectors. So let's understand how and what, how do we find out the resultant? Okay, see, because see, listen to me, what is happening, students, here? What is happening if I apply a force in this direction and I apply a force in this direction? Where will this displace? Will this object displace here? No. Will this object displace here? No.
No.
It will go somewhere in between. This will be my resultant. Resultant, what is resultant thing? Resultant will be the what is it written, students? It's a process of find resultant of two vectors is the composition or the addition of two vectors. It is it is basically telling you the effect of this vector which is in x-axis direction and this vector which is in y-axis direction. That is called the resultant. Okay, so let's understand how do we calculate resultant. So this topic is called triangle law of vectors. This topic is called as triangle law of vector addition. Now, of course, there are tricks associated with it, which I will tell you later on. But now understand this triangle law of vectors. Okay, so suppose I say that there are two vectors. They represent the same physical quantity. Okay, and they are drawn in a particular sequence. Let's say that this is my vector. Let's say it's some vector. Okay, we are not concerned with what vector it is. Let's say it's p vector. And there is another vector here which is somewhere around q vector. let's represent it like this. Q vector. Actually, vectors are represented by capital letters, so we'll represent it by capital letters. So there is P vector and Q vector. First of all, students, you tell me one thing. If suppose I take this P vector here, this is my P vector, and I take this P vector and I place it here. Is there any change in the vector? Will there be any change in the vector?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. If I take this P vector and I place it up here, will there be any change in this vector?
No, sir.
No.
But some of y'all must be thinking, yes, you're changing this, you're changing the displacement, you're taking this and putting it here, you're changing, putting it here. So will that be any effect of that on this vector? No. Why? Because vector is only about magnitude and direction. Okay. So if I'm taking this vector and I'm placing it here, no problem. The direction is the same and the magnitude also is the same. Okay. If I'm taking this vector and I'm placing it here, the direction is the same. Magnitude also is the same. But can I take this vector and I can twist it like this? Can I twist it like this? Can I twist it like this? No. What did I do? What did I do here? I cannot do that. What did I do wrong? I changed the direction of this. I changed the direction. That is wrong. Okay. So students, remember one point here, that you can displace the vectors provided the direction and the magnitude remain the same. You can displace them. Okay. You can displace them provided the magnitude and the direction remain the same. Is that clear, students? You can do the same thing with Q here. This Q I can remove and place it here. I can place it here. No problem. The magnitude is same, direction is same. I can place it here. No problem. Okay. So I can place it anywhere I want, provided the magnitude and direction is the same. So what does vector law of addition say, students? Okay, coming to the topic, small concepts I'll be bringing in between here. That that there are two vectors, students. I am saying this vector P is P vector in this direction, and there is another vector over here, which is basically in this direction. Okay, let's say this is Q vector. So what I can do, students, I can displace this Q vector in such a way. I can displace this vector. See, listen to me, students. Important concept. Please pay attention. Not on your mobiles. So here I can displace this vector over here. Can I displace it over here? I'll just displace it. I'll put it here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I displaced it, students. Okay, I displaced it. No problem. But now, students, let's forget this now. Always remember that the resultant always, okay, always and always will start from the tail of the first vector you are considering, and it will end at the head of the another vector which you are considering. Always remember that. This is called triangle law of vector addition. This is called triangle law of vector addition. For example, okay, listen to me. If I take this Q vector, and I displace it here, okay, let's say I displace it here in this direction, and I take this P vector and I displace it on top in this direction. Please consider that to be a straight line. Okay. Okay, then my resultant will start from the tail of the first vector, and it will end at the head of the second vector I'm considering. This will be my resultant. Okay, this resultant will have a combined effect of the first vector and the second vector, and that will be what, students? By the law of vector addition. Okay, I can say that the resultant here will be an addition of P vector, and it will be an addition of Q vector, and of course the resultant also will be a vector. Okay, so R here, the resultant will be the combined effect of P, and it will be the combined effect of Q vector, two vectors. So is this understood, students? Okay, yes. It is given there are two vectors. Okay, they have the same physical quantity. P and Q have the same physical quantity. Okay, they were drawn in a particular sequence. I displaced them. Regardless of the order, I just displaced them. Okay, then what I did, I formed two sides of a triangle. And then what I'm saying, the resultant of the two vectors is basically starting from the tail of the first vector and ends at the head of the second vector. Is that clear, students? Any doubts so far? Okay, so listen. can I say that the resultant P plus Q here, which I have got, resultant P plus Q is equal to Q plus P? Can I say that?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Can I
sir.
say that?
Yes, sir.
How can I say that? How can I say that? By drawing it. I have to draw and prove it, right? So let's say that this is the same thing over here. I have Q here, right? I had Q here and I had P here, like this. I had P here. So how can I prove that the resultant is going to be the same? See, students, here, if this is Q here, okay, if this is Q here, of course this is also Q here.
Yes.
And if this is P here, this is also P here.
Yes.
So the resultant from this vector, from the end vector here, for this, now we are considering this to be our first vector. So here, from the tail of the first vector to the head of the second vector, you can see it is going to be Q plus P. So R is also going to be equal to Q vector plus P vector. I understand this is very easy to understand, but these are important concepts. Don't underestimate small concepts like this. Okay. So now listen to me. There is a property here that comes into the picture. It is called addition of vectors in this case, triangle law of vectors. Addition of vectors is commutative. Okay, this is important for your board exams. Okay, point if you consider it to be a board exam. Okay, if this is clear. If this is clear, can you tell me whether it will be associative or let's say students, before coming to that, if suppose I say that there are, instead of two vectors, now I say there are three vectors, then what will be the result? Let's say that this is going to be my a vector, and let's say there's another vector here in this direction, this is b vector. Let's say another there is in this direction, c vector. So what will be the resultant of these forces? These are all different directions. These are all, but they are the same physical quantity. Okay, that is the only way we can add them. Question is, okay, if A and B are any two unequal vectors, okay, what can you say about the vectors A plus B and B plus A? See, listen to me here. This is called polygon law of vectors. So instead of triangle law, we will shift it to polygon law of vectors. Okay, polygon law of vectors. Students, listen to me. I can rearrange this entire thing. In such a way, if this is A, let's displace it over here. Let's write this is A vector. And let's displace this vector over here in such a way that this becomes my B vector. And let's displace this C vector in such a way that this becomes my C vector. So you can see here, students, that I have displaced it in such a way. I have displaced this entire thing in such a way that I can find out the resultant very easily. Listen to me. The resultant is always going to start from the tail of the first vector and it is going to end at the last head of the last vector. So here the resultant will be somewhat like this. And what will be the resultant equal to? Can you tell me what is the resultant equal to here? Resultant, students, R is going to be equal to A vector plus B vector plus C vector. Yes or no? It's going to be A vector plus B vector plus C vector. So what is the trick, students? What is the trick? The trick is, if let it be any triangle law, let it be any polygon law, let it be any amount of vectors, all you have to do is arrange them in such a way that you are able to get a tail vector at the first, tail at the first vector, and head at the end vector, and therefore you will be able to find out the resultant, which is going to be the addition of all these vectors. Is that clear? All of you have understood this? Okay. Now, so you understand, even if it is a triangle, even if it is about a triangle law, if this was the first vector and this is the second vector here, of course the resultant will be from tail of the first vector, head of the second vector. So you can see it. This is going to be my resultant. If it was a polygon, you can do this. If it has more vectors, you understood the concept now. Tail of the first vector, head of the last vector. Okay. Now, if suppose I say, students, that I want to, okay, is this going to be let's say, how can I also prove that A plus B, okay, suppose I say, students, listen to me. If I say C vector is equal to A vector plus B vector. Will this be equal to C equal to A plus B? Is my question. Okay. See now, listen to me. What I just did here. You've not got it. Listen to me. Here C is a vector, A is a vector, B is a vector. But when I write the same thing without any vector form, it means magnitude. It means magnitude. So magnitude is magnitude of C equal to magnitude of A and magnitude of B. Can this be possible? Do you think?
No, sir. No, sir.
No,
You think?
sir. No,
so,
sir.
so not
No, sir.
everyone is telling no. So look here. Suppose I take a triangle. This was my A vector. Let's say A vector. Please represent your vectors clearly. And this is the vector here. This is another vector here. Right? This is B vector. Then what happens, students? This is going to be my, of course, this is going to be my resultant. Okay, from the tail of the first vector to the end of the last vector. But here, what is going to be? C vector is of course going to be A vector plus B vector. But resultant will not be equal to this. Resultant will not be equal to this. What is this? This is called magnitude. What is going to be the magnitude? Magnitude is always going to be found out in this case. In this case, it will be what, students? It will be according to Pythagoras theorem. Yes or no? So I can say
Yes.
that the magnitude of C is going to be the magnitude of A vector, okay, whole square, plus the magnitude of B vector. See, students, listen to me. Magnitude of B vector. What the vector symbolizes? Vector symbolizes the summation of the direction of these vectors. It is not telling you the magnitude. Magnitude of A is completely different. Okay, magnitude, this is going to be a vector quantity, and there is a separate thing called magnitude of vector. Magnitude of vector is represented as, students, listen to me. If this is A vector, then the magnitude of A vector will be represented in mod sign A vector. This is called magnitude. Okay, this is called magnitude. Is that clear, students? And the magnitude in case of a triangle law, in case of a triangle, you can see this A is one side, B is one side, then the magnitude third vector here, resultant will be of course removed by Pythagoras theorem. So of course I can say that I cannot say that this is let's say my ink is over. Let's say my ink is always getting over, students, because I keep taking so many lectures, and so C is going to be equal to A vector plus B vector, yes or no, is not going to be equal to C equal to A plus B. Okay, it's not going to be equal to C is equal to A plus B. But there is one case where we can actually prove this. There is one case we can prove this. And in which case that will be, look here. If suppose I say that there is a vector here like this, that I say there is a C vector here. This is my C vector. Okay. And there is another vector, which is A vector here. And there is another vector here. This is B vector. So here can I say that C vector is of course going to be addition of A vector plus B vector, but also I can say that C, magnitude of C also will be equal to magnitude of A plus magnitude of B. Yes or no, students? This you understood? This you understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So there are cases where you can twist this game. You can twist the game. Okay. Now if this is understood, let's come to what is
Sir?
called a, yes.
Sir, was that the value of C equal to A plus B, which you made the diagram?
Yeah. For this one, this straight one.
Yes,
this is
sir.
if this is C vector, and I'm saying that this is A vector, and this is B vector, all of them are representing the same physical quantity. I'm telling you, all of them are representing the same physical quantity. Okay, you can see they are all in the same direction. Okay, and you can also see that this entire vector here, C vector, okay, visually you can make out here that the magnitude of C over here has to be equal to the magnitude of A plus the magnitude of B. Yes or no? Can I not say that? Can I not
Yes,
say that?
sir.
I can say that. This is how you represent magnitude, students, in a mod sign. Okay, is that clear? Okay, of course.
Yes.
And also this C vector also has is also being a result of the combination of A vector plus B vector. It is also a combination of A vector plus B vector. But in terms of a triangle, when I had spoken to you, the magnitude has to be removed by Pythagoras theorem. Because see, this is going to be my A vector, this is going to be my B vector. But do you think this vector here, this resultant vector here will be the magnitude of this vector plus this vector? No, it won't be. It has to be removed by Pythagoras theorem. But in this case, you can see that you don't need to do that. So the case gets a little bit crazy over here. So everyone understood this topic? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now what is going to be? Yes. Now some small concepts I'm keep on telling you, but listen to me. Okay. What is going to be a negative vector? Students, listen to me. Negative vector. Okay. Negative vector will be what? Tell me. Anyone can tell me what is a negative vector? Anyone? Any guess is no problem. Any guess, no problem. See, negative vector, students. Suppose I am saying that this is my A vector.
In the opposite direction.
Yes, it will be in the opposite direction. So if there is another vector, students, if there is another vector with the same physical quantity but in the opposite direction,
It's a negative.
then it will be a negative vector. It will be a negative vector. I can say that if this is B vector, then this B vector is the negative of A vector. Can I say that?
Yes.
Can I say that? Yes or no?
Yes,
So you
sir.
can see here that this is negative vector. Why did I tell you this? Because right now we are going to find out what is going to be the vector subtraction. So let's say that I want to find out whether C vector is equal to A minus B vector. Whether this, students, whether this could be equal to B minus A vector. Do you think?
Yes.
Could these two be equal? Because in vector addition, we saw that A plus B vectors is equal to B plus A vector.
No, sir.
No.
Do you
No,
think
sir.
this will be equal?
No, sir.
Ah,
No,
No,
these are
sir.
all. Yes. Why I am telling you this subtraction so that you understand these concepts. So now see, listen to me. If suppose I say that this is my A vector, students, look here, very easy, A vector. And if I say that this is my B vector, let's say this is my B vector here. Okay. I want to find out a vector C, which is a vector C vector, such that this C vector is equal to A minus B vector. A minus B vector. So to do that, students, what will I do? First I have to look at this here. If I have to prove that C is equal to A minus B, first vector here has to be considered as A vector. And so resultant will have to start from the tail of that first vector. So that means my resultant should start from here, but it should go somewhere. It should go somewhere. So this B vector here, if I take this B vector, I invert this. I invert it. What will happen? It will become a negative vector.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This becomes a negative vector. So then what will be my resultant? My resultant will start from the end, from the tail of the first vector A to the end of to the head of the second vector which I'm considering. And here you can see, if I consider this to be my C vector, it will be A vector minus B vector. Okay. But now let's see whether that is opposite, whether that would be equal to B minus A. Let's see that. So if I have to consider now B minus A, if I want to find out a resultant C such that I'm getting B minus A vector, what will I have to do? What will I have to invert here, students? I would have to invert what here? Can you tell me? I would have A vector, and A vector would have to be inverted in such a way. Look here, in such a way, this A vector has to be inverted in such a way. Take this A vector, displace it here. What will I get? I get a A vector here. But what is this A vector? It is a negative A vector. So what will be the resultant? Resultant will start from the end of the first vector here, B, and it will end at the head of the second vector here. So here C vector will be equal to B minus A vector. B vector minus A vector. Okay. But of course, students, you can see here that if I have to write this in this form, let's say that if I have to write this as, if I have to compare this to find out whether, if I want to find out that B minus A is equal to A minus B here, okay, that does not make sense. Why? Because B vector minus A vector will be the negative of, invert this, it will be negative of B minus A vector. So you can see here this negative sign here. Okay, you can see the negative sign here, and you can understand that these two vectors are not going to be equal. So students, listen to me, that in subtraction, okay, clearly you can see that the associative law, the commutative law of vector subtraction is not valid. It is not valid. Okay, is that clear, students? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Very clear.
Yes.
Anyone wants to ask me a doubt here?
Okay.
Okay. Simple stuff. Very simple. Okay. Now, if this is understood, now try to understand something. There is another vector. This vector is called as unit vector. Now, what is the meaning of unit vector? Can anyone tell me what is unit vector?
Magnitude will be 1.
Magnitude will be 1. Okay. So, students, listen to me. Here, listen to me. If there is a vector here, A, okay, and it is a vector, I'm saying it is a vector. It's a normal vector. But the magnitude of this vector A is equal to 1. The magnitude of this vector is equal to 1. This is called unit vector. This, students, these type of vectors are represented as A. Okay, if suppose I have to represent this unit vector, I'm talking about unit vector. If I'm suppose talking about unit vector here, then listen to me, it will be denoted as A cap. This is how you represent a unit vector. This is exactly how you represent a unit vector. What this tells you? It only tells you direction. It only tells you direction. For example, if I said that there is something like, if there is a force, students, listen to me. I said that there is, this is my 10 x cap. What does this mean? What does this mean? This means there is a magnitude. There is a magnitude of 10, some amount of 10, but in which direction? X-axis direction. What is going to? We are going to see many things of this. We are going to see many things. What is this meaning? 10 y cap. What does this mean? It is having some direction. It is having some direction. But does this make any? Does this make any change in this magnitude? 10 over here. Will this make a change in 10?
No.
Will this make a change in 10? No, right? It is not going to make any change. It won't make any change. Why? Because this is a unit vector. The magnitude of this is going to be 1. Magnitude of this is going to be 1. So today, students, we have understood what is vector addition in terms of triangle law. We have understood what is polygon law. We have understood what is subtraction law. Okay, whether it is going to be associative, whether both of them are going to be equal or not equal. Please revise these concepts. Please revise these concepts. Since there is not enough time, students, for me to go to another concept here, we will do a continuation of this session tomorrow. So have a nice day, students. Please practice the sum. Bye bye. Bye everyone.
Yes, sir.
Bye, sir.